What's that? Yeah. I know. The same type of Monday. Did you guys get my email about the minutes? Okay, that's fine. I just didn't hear back from anybody, so I wanted to make sure we got the email. Awesome. And have you guys talked about the next meeting? Okay. Sorry. Okay, sounds good.
Good morning! Good morning! Cheery lots, I like to see. So, just checking in with the course outline where we're at. Today we have guests. We have some mental health talks today, mental health issues we're going to go over with some of our Vandal health interns. So, I'm not going to introduce them any more than that. I'll let them do all that in a second. So your contract is due, so that needs to go in your folders, please. So make sure that it is in there with papers. Next class, we're going over communication. There is nothing due apart from some reading. It's a whole page. It should take a very long time. And then, oh look, next week, exam 1. Bring Scantron and pencil. It is over everything we've covered up to exam 1. It is this Scantron from the bookstore. I think it's a crazy 10 or 50 cents. Has 60 items on the bottom.
Is that the right thing?
There's a space in the back. You will bring your pencil, bring an eraser if you like to erase. It needs to be pencil. You need to know your ID number as well because you'll need to fill it in down here. If you have been reviewing the slides every class period and if you've been okay when we've covered the 5 or 6 questions at the beginning of most lectures, then you're probably in good form. You just need to review that material. Those questions give you an idea of the types of things that we want you to know. Anything that has been in your textbook that we have not talked about in the class will not be tested. So it's things that we've mentioned, either read, and then we've mentioned in class more than once are the real important things that we need you to know. So then the other reminder is that I will talk about some of the events coming up via Vandal Health. Here is another health event that I haven't posted, but there's a flyer around. Anyone ever heard of Qigong? Okay, anyone heard of Tai Chi? How many people have heard of Tai Chi? More than, okay, there you go, some show hands, thank you. So it's similar in that, in the sense of the Qi part. Qi is the energy flow within the body. And Tai Chi is about movements that have been related to martial arts, moving through gentle motions to allow the Qi to flow. There's all sorts of stress management benefits and physical benefits. Qigong is a little bit different, but does also focus on the qi. So the whole structure is about tuning into your body and your inner energy and allowing it to flow and release blockages within that. Can't necessarily study under a microscope, so it's a little bit out there. But there is sessions that are going on in town. The first session, which I'm going to tell you about, is a free one that you can attend. It's Friday, September 20th, 7 till 8:30, 412 East 3rd Street at the 1912 Centre. So you can go along and they'll talk a little bit about what it is and then go through some exercises and try it out. And of course, if you like it after that, you can go for it and do the other sessions, but they cost money. This is a free one that you can attend as your event participation if you. So, any questions from anyone about anything behavior change-wise? We'll check in again next class to see how your logging's going and to review some of the other good and bad graph examples. So you've got a good feel for that. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand you over to our guests today. And give them a round of applause.
Hi guys, I'm Kyle Keeley. And I'm Nick Brock. And we're peer health educators at the Vandal Health Resource Room in the Rec Center. Before we get started, make sure you have your ABCD cards out. We're using those today. And then also, make sure you guys are taking good notes because we're going to be giving out incentives along the way.
Practice for participating.
Let's get started. So, this is our room right here. When you walk into the rec center, you just take a left right when you walk in. This is our room. It says Mental Health Ed right above our room. What we do in the room is we plan health campaigns on campus. Students can come in and we direct them to health resources on campus. And everyone can come in and just ask questions. And our room's pretty open. We're usually in there from like 9 to 5. So, how we got into this, me and Nick, we took a class last spring. We learned how to be a peer educator. We got certified through the Fox Network. We learned skills in like educating students, intervention skills, and listening skills. And right now the course is set to Health Safety 404, but we're trying to change it to 304 so sophomores can take it as well. But we want students going and taking the class, getting knowledge and intervention and education, listening skills, and being part of what we're doing. So right now our health event, the next health event is called a Health Hut, and every month we're going to be focusing on a new health topic and holding a booth out right in front of the TLC. And this month, tomorrow actually is our first Health Hut, and it's going to be on bystander intervention. Bystander intervention is pretty much seeing something dangerous or someone doing something stupid and pretty much not just watching there, don't be a bystander, intervene and do something about it. And this is actually a video promoting this.
I Got Your Back is our campaign promoting vandals, taking care of vandals.
To make our campus safer.
To make our campus better.
I Got Your Back means we help people when they're in a bad situation.
We reach out to someone who is struggling.
We confront dangerous decisions.
It's important to take the time to notice what's going on around us.
When something is out of the ordinary or not quite right.
I pledge to notice more.
To be more aware of my surroundings.
It's up to you.
It's up to me.
It's up to us. Together.
As vandals,
We can make a difference.
Sometimes people don't help because they aren't sure if it's a problem.
If you aren't sure, ask questions.
I pledge.
To investigate more.
To find out more when something is unclear.
To ask others what they think.
Sometimes people don't help because it's hard to go against the group.
I pledge
To stand up for what's right.
To have the courage to step up.
To have the confidence to say,
I got your back.
Sometimes people don't help because they're waiting for others to do something.
I pledge to take it upon myself.
To be the first.
to lend a hand, to reach out.
Sometimes people don't help because they don't know what to do. I pledge.
To learn how to help.
To learn what to do.
To know who I can call.
it's up to you.
It's up to me.
It's up to us.
Together, as Vandals.
We can make a difference.
I got your back means we step in.
We do something.
Even when it's tough.
Even when it goes against the grain.
We do something.
We intervene early.
Before the problem escalates.
Be smart, be safe, but intervene.
I pledge.
To look out for my friends.
To look at something from a different perspective.
To stand up for what is right.
To make a positive difference in someone's life.
What would you want someone to do for you?
We're all in this together.
I pledge to take the keys.
I pledge to not tolerate violence.
I pledge to reach out when I see someone struggling.
I pledge to report abuse.
I pledge to call for help.
I pledge to stop the hate.
I pledge to walk someone home.
I pledge to confront my friends when they need help.
I pledge to step up the next time I see someone in need.
I will be there for my teammates.
I will be there for my classmates.
I will be there for my Vandals.
It's up to you.
It's up to me.
It's up to us.
To do the right thing.
I'm a Vandal.
I got your back.
I got your back.
I got your back.
Alright, and also wait, by the way, that health hut is going to be from 10 to 2 out in front of the TLC. Okay, so, at this point, can we get everyone to stand up? Alright, so everyone that has cards, I want you to stay. Index card. Everyone with the index card that I gave out, I want you to stay standing and everyone else to sit down. Up and down. So everyone that got a card, if there were 133 of you, I don't know if there is, but that's how many we kind of set statistically how many people with mental disorders would, in this room out of 133 would have a disorder. There's about 43 of you guys. So every one of you that's standing up right now have mental disorder. You guys don't know which one actually, because every number has a different disease, but anyways, we'll get to that, what disease you have. So anyways, you guys can sit down for now, but we're just waiting. Periodically, we'll have you guys stand up.
So before we begin, I have one more announcement to make. That's on the 8th of October and the 10th, we're going to be holding mental health first aid training. It'll run from 4 to 8 p.m. And you have to be in both sessions to actually become certified. If you don't show up to both sessions, it is free, but if you don't show up to both sessions, or either one, you'll be charged $25 because you're taking a spot from someone else and have to register and take the course. So if you feel like you want to join and become mental health first aid certified, I will leave Dr. Brinley more information, and she can get that to you next month.
So, anyways, let's get started. So we're going to be doing a presentation on mental health first aid. So, a quarter of Americans at some point in their life are going to have a mental health disorder. That's a lot of people. A quarter of people of America. So, what is good mental health? So, good mental health is being able to, function correctly in society. So you're going to be able to keep relationships. You're going to be able to keep your job, do all the fun activities you like doing. And then we got on the opposite side of the spectrum, we got mental disorders. And so at this point, you're not able to function correctly. You aren't keeping relationships. You're having problems with getting to work and doing all the fun activities you like doing. And then, but it's not like you either have a disorder or not. Because some people, you know, they have some problems. They have mental health problems, and they're not quite bad enough to be a disorder, but they're still not able to function as well. And so there is no you have a disorder or not. And some common misconceptions about mental disorders is that they're uncommon, but if a quarter of America is getting a mental disorder at some point in their life, that's not uncommon. And that it's not an actual illness. Pretty much, you know, some diseases, health disorder diseases have been comparable to some of the severe diseases, like say, I think it was post-traumatic disorder has been comparable to paraplegia. So, some doctors consider, or some experts consider mental health disorders to be pretty much some of the most debilitating illnesses out there. And then some people consider mental health disorder people with mental health disorders to be lazy and uncooperative. But some of these people, they're just dealing with so much stress in their lives, and they just can't do anything with their life. They're just so stressed out, and they're unable to function. And then some people believe that there's no treatment and there's no recovery. But later in this presentation, we're going to be showing a video of a woman who had schizophrenia, who dealt with it for years after she got to college, and she had to deal with it for years trying to treat it. And eventually, she graduated college, and she became pretty prestigious, and she did a lot with her life, even though she was doing treatment the whole time, and she got treated, and she's doing great now. And so we got this big spectrum of more common diseases to least common diseases. With anxiety, more people are going to be experiencing anxiety in their life, and less people are going to be experiencing schizophrenia. But anyways, there's a big spectrum with more common diseases with least common disease. And I added in this slide because I want to show you guys the impact that mental health has on your guys' lives. So they're in the top 5. 3 out of the top 5 are mental health related. So there's stress, anxiety, depression. Those are in the top 3. And so those have a huge impact on your guys' academics.
Alright, so when we talk about mental health and applying first aid, there's always like the stigma about it. And ALGAE is our action plan that we want to use when we're applying mental health first aid. First aid can be defined as first aid is the help given to a person to preserve life, to prevent further harm, promote recovery, provide comfort to the ill or injured person. And the same principles apply for mental health. We seek to preserve life when they are a danger to themselves or others. We want to provide help to prevent problems from becoming more serious. And we want to promote and enhance recovery and provide comfort and support to those people. So our first step, action A. We want to assess for risk of suicide or harm. And when we do this, we want to approach the person and assess the situation for what it really is. We don't want to try to infer things that aren't there. We want to find a suitable time and space to approach them. If the person doesn't initiate the conversation, we can start really simply by just a general, broad conversation starter, and then ease our way into that, into our topic, and let them feel comfortable with it. Because if they feel like you're putting them on the spot, they're going to be really defensive and really closed, and they won't want to open up to you, so you can't assess the situation properly. And respect the person's privacy and confidentiality at all times. If they can't confide in you, they're not going to tell you what's really going on, and then you can't help them. And if you have really serious concerns at all times, you can call 911, or there's the National Suicide Hotline, and you can also call the Intervention Crisis Line that we have here on campus, and we'll get to that number further on in our presentation. L, listen non-judgmentally. I know this is really hard sometimes because as people and friends and family members, we want to be able to help those that are reaching out to us. But sometimes that means that we're going to just try to jump to a solution without actually hearing them to what they have to say. A lot of people that are trying to open up, when they're experiencing distressing emotions, they want an empathetic listener first, and then they'll be more accepting of what you have to offer them. So, action G, we want to give reassurance and information. This is the time that we can provide them with resources. So after that, they feel like they've been listened to and accepted, this is when they're more willing to want to seek information and help. And then action E, we want to encourage appropriate professional help. So this is the time that we can discuss options for seeking professional help. We want to discuss appropriate professional help and encourage the person to use these options. Make sure that you reiterate the importance of actually seeking help, and you can, people that can provide help, we have primary care physicians, so like your standard normal doctor. There are mental health professionals, certified peer health educators, and psychiatrists. So the next one, encourage self-help and support strategies. We can encourage the people to reach out to others in their community. Church services are really great. People find spiritual help really comforting. Exercise is another really good one. We have relaxation training, so progressive relaxation. There's also self-help books. Meditation is another big one, and yoga.
So, everyone with the number 1, stand up. So, everyone with the number 1. So, everyone with the number 1, you guys have anxiety disorder. So, anyways, what percent of U.S. adults develop an anxiety disorder in a given year? You guys can sit down. Someone, hands up. Someone give me an answer. What do you guys think? Yes, that's right. Thank you for these cards. All right. See a lot of D's. All right. So the actual answer is C. 18% of all U.S. adults at some time in a given year will have anxiety disorder. Okay, so what is an anxiety disorder? So there's regular anxiety and then there's the actual disorder. So past anxiety, it's going to be more intense, it's going to be longer lasting, and it's going to interfere with your relationships, your occupation, and your activities you like to do. It's going to interfere with those more. And again, here's a 18%. Okay, so onset of anxiety. So you can experience this at any point between childhood, adolescence, and early adulthood. But usually it's around the age of 11, and it's more common in females. And it'll often occur with other like mood disorders or substance abuse disorders. Okay, so with anxiety, you're going to be feeling all different types of physical symptoms. So with our cardiovascular, we're going to be feeling chest pain, increased heartbeat. Respiratorily, we're going to have a shortness of breath and be hyperventilating. We could neurological symptoms could be dizziness, nausea, numbness, headaches, and then also we got gastrointestinal. So we got stomach pains, we got nausea. We have choking, dry mouth, and then musculoskeletal. We have muscle pain, restlessness, and shaking and tremors. So there's a ton of physical symptoms. And then along with that, people sometimes will have a panic attack at this point. And so a panic attack is pretty much an increased severity of these symptoms. and it could last about, I think, peaks about 10 minutes. So, all right. So psychological symptoms. So at this point, we're going to be having possibly excessive fear and worry. We're going to have minds going to be racing. We're going to have maybe irritable, angry, tired from lack of sleep, confused. So there's so many feelings possibly feeling it when you have anxiety, and lots of negative ones. Okay. And so behavioral symptoms might be persons avoiding any types of situations, leaving their house. They're being unsocial. They don't want to go hang out with friends anymore. They don't want to go, take part in any daily activities anymore. They might be obsessive and compulsive. They might be showing phobic behavior, being afraid of all kinds of things. So if you do see these signs of symptoms, this is when you would start using allergy. You start using the steps. This is number 2.
So if you have the index card number 2, go ahead and just hold your hand up high so everyone can see it.
Very easier.
Those are the people that have been diagnosed with depression. Those are the representations. So, going on with that, what region of the country is depression most prevalent in? This is your card. A lot of A's, a lot of C's. Alright, actually, it's the southeast. So as you can see down here, big concentration of depression, more towards the south.
You guys will probably actually learn more about the South, but it's a very unhealthy area.
So, depression is different than everyday blues or sadness. It's characterized by a major depressive episode and has to last at least 2 weeks, and it will affect a person's ability to work, interact with their normal daily activities, and interfere with school. It affects roughly 6.7% of adults in any 1 year. It's the most common mood disorder. So, the onset of depression, it's a complex mechanism that works. There is no single trigger event that spurs on depression. It's a culmination of these factors here. Biological can play a large role in those because mental disorders are so often linked to genetics. But there are also social and psychological factors that play into there. It's really important to intervene early because the more often that a person experiences depressive episodes, the more likely subsequent episodes occur later on in life. So the quicker that we can actually intervene, the quicker that person will recover. Depression is characterized by unusually sad mood and a loss of enjoyment or interest in usual daily activities. So they might be withdrawing from social events. Friends and family usually are the quickest ones to know that. Other common symptoms: lack of energy. They often feel tired, run down, they're sluggish. They might feel like they're actually pulling themselves over and slouching, which is common. When we get stressed out and we carry our burdens, a lot of time we carry that weight through our upper shoulders and back. Thoughts about death leading to suicide if their thoughts are often preoccupied with giving things away or mopey, depressive feelings. And then they have difficulty concentrating or making decisions. So, we need one volunteer to come down here, and we're going to do a little activity to simulate the effects of depression. So I just need one person to come down here, and you're going to put on this nice weight vest. There will be a reward if you come down and participate. You can take your choosing.
Someone get some. First person.
All right, beautiful.
I saw it.
So the way that this is actually going to work, we're going to help develop a story. And so I need multiple people with input. So there's possible triggers that might occur an event. And so, as we can see up here, this particular individual, what's your name?
Sam.
Sam. Okay, Sam has a sensitive nature, and so she's susceptible to bouts of sadness. And so and then here's other trigger ideas: living in long-term poverty, loss of a job. But these are just ideas, so I need input from the audience. Come on down. Huh?
Death of a family member?
Death of a family member. Okay, so you mind coming up? We're going to put in a few weights into her vest to simulate the burdens of these triggers.
Yeah, so.
Okay, who's got another one?
Let's add some weight to this.
F on a test.
F on a test, come down. What's yours? One more time? Financial instability, come on down. Come on.
What about anybody else?
How many more do we have?
We have quite a few actually.
All right, at least two more. Who's got another one? Break up with her boyfriend, all right.
And then one more. Anybody else? What else should you be dealing with? One last person? Anything? What could you be dealing with?
Stress about school.
Stress about school.
You can throw mine in.
Oh, everybody else. How are we gonna deal with that? There.
Okay, so how's that feel?
So heavier.
A little heavier? Right. So the point of this activity was to help her understand the feeling of that weight that we carry around, that depression. And as we go on, those weight and those burdens build up over time, and they can really wear down on us. So, so you can go ahead and take it off. Yeah. If you want, we pick out a little prize over here.
We got some good prizes, guys. Okay, so. Alright, so I believe this is number 3. So if you have a number 3, put your hand up. Should be about right. So, you know, not a ton of people will have this out of the population, but there'd be quite a few, or few enough. So, how would you find a substance abuse? Oh, and this point, kind of just think about this for 30 seconds. How would you guys define substance abuse?
Talk amongst your neighbor for a second.
Maybe that's like 30 seconds. Alright, so let's bring it back. Alright, so we would define it as abuse and dependence of alcohol or other drugs, which leads to work, school, health, legal problems. So some signs and symptoms. So person is got a substance abuse disorder. You know, they're going to be more tolerant of the substance that they're taking. They're going to be having problems with withdrawing from the substance. They're going to be trying to need to use more of the substance to get to the same level that they were reaching before. They're going to have to have problems cutting down and stopping using the drug. They're going to be having problems with just, thinking about it. They're going to be spending a lot of time thinking about the substance. They're going to think about how they're going to be getting it. They're going to be also spending a lot of time with trying to get off the drug. So, and also the person's going to be giving up important social, occupational, and other fun activities that the person likes to do. And then they're going to continue despite all the problems that are occurring because of their disorder. So it's the onset of this disorder. About 75% of you guys are going to have well, maybe not just you guys, but of the population is going to be having a substance abuse disorder at some point before 27. And then it's going to be more common in males. Approximately 3.8% of the population is going to be having a substance abuse disorder at some point in a given year. And then it'll often co-occur with mood disorder, anxiety disorders, and psychotic disorders.
Alright. So, what is psychosis? Psychosis is it's a mental health problem that results in the loss of some part of reality. They don't understand and they can't interpret properly what's going on in their environment.
As before.
So bipolarism. Bipolar is characterized by bouts between extreme depression and mania, which is its opposite. Mania is characterized by like a euphoric state. People have elevated energy. They usually have lack of insight. They can be really extremely irritable. And then they can alternate between these states and then go to normal. Each episode has a different range. It can last from a day all the way up to a year. It depends on the individual. Video. There's a clip from the movie Mr. Jones with Richard Gere. An individual that has bipolarism.
Do you guys even see that? No, pause that. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Kind of see it? So, within those clips, the first part of it, Mr. Jones is experiencing a manic state. He has definitely increased energy and overactivity, has a nice elevated mood. And this one right here, grandiose delusions, he feels that he all of a sudden is a conductor. He's capable of leading this performance, even though he's not qualified. This is common. This part is really common in mania. Also, the lack of inhibitions is a key indicator here. Earlier on in that movie, there's another clip where he tips a taxi driver like $200, and it's because he has this lack of insight. That's pretty common. People feel like at that time money doesn't really mean a whole lot to them, and so they come later to regret their impulsiveness. The causes of bipolar disorder aren't fully understood. There's a bunch of different factors that could play into it, one of which birth in the winter or spring is thought to perhaps cause it because of viral infections that might occur to the fetus. And then also one of the biggest indicators is that if you have a family member, your risk is now elevated because of that. But there's not a whole lot of conclusive evidence to say that one of those other factors could cause bipolar disease. So schizophrenia. It's Greek for fractured mind. And a common misconception about schizophrenia is that it is or linked to multiple personality syndrome, which is not true. Within multiple personality syndrome, the person feels that they have other beings, people living inside their own body. With schizophrenia, that's not true. It's a break in the person's loop with reality, and a lot of that can be caused. There's a region right here within the brain that's more smooth than normal. There's less folding activity going on in there, and there's actually some pretty cool theoretical models and treatments right now involving magnets to try to help close that loop. It's the most common disorder in which psychosis is the feature, even though that this particular disorder is one of the least common throughout the nation. So it's characterized by delusions and hallucinations. The difference between these, delusions are false beliefs of persecution, or that they're on a special mission, or another being is controlling them from the outside. While hallucinations are characterized as the most common one is an auditory hallucination. So people imagine voices in their head and they're telling them to do things. And almost always those voices are negative. So they're telling you like, oh, you can't trust that person, or oh, you're really stupid, don't do that, you're crazy. And because of those voices, they're oftentimes they have thinking difficulties, or they'll withdraw from social events because they are being perceived. They're perceiving things that aren't real, and so other people, friends and family members, might be a little bit scared or confused as to what's happening with this person. And a lot of times, when this one happens, is when people say that the person is crazy. And so, because of all these different effects, loss of drive and will to do things within their normal environment, they fade extremely quickly. The onset of schizophrenia, there's roughly 1/3 will experience only one episode in their life. Another will experience multiple episodes. And the final third, it's a lifelong battle for them, and they'll have these issues throughout their lives, but they can be lessened with treatment and medication. Average for the age of first episode can range from 15 to 30, but more commonly occurs in males, and also that the onset is earlier. So we have one other clip for you guys. This is a clip from Ellen Sachs, who Kyle mentioned earlier, who has been struggling with schizophrenia all her life. I suggest if you really want to know more about this disease, just to pull up this clip about her. She has an extremely detailed story about her battle with schizophrenia. Unfortunately, I couldn't play the whole thing. But
The following episode happened the 7th week of my first semester of my first year at Yale Law School, quoting from my writings. My two classmates, Rebel and Val, and I had made the date to meet in the law school library on Friday night to work on our memo assignment together, but we didn't get far before I was talking in ways that made no sense. Memos are visitations, I informed them. They make certain points. The point is on your head. Pat used to say that. Have you killed anyone? Rebel and Val looked at me as if they or I had been splashed in the face with cold water. What are you talking about, Ellen? Oh, you know, the usual. Who's what, what's who, heaven and hell. Let's go out on the roof. It's a flat surface. It's safe. Rebel and Val followed, and they asked what had gotten into me. "This is the real me," I announced, waving my arms above my head. And then, late on a Friday night, on the roof of the Yale Law School, I began to sing, and not quietly either. "Come to the Florida sunshine bush. Do you want to dance? Are you on drugs?" one asked. "Are you high?" "High? Me? No way, no drugs. Come to the Florida sunshine bush, where there are lemons, where they make demons." "You're frightening me," one of them said, and Rebel and Val headed back into the library. I shrugged and followed them. Back inside, I asked my classmates if they were having the same experience of words jumping around our cases as I was. "I think someone's infiltrated my copies of the cases," I've said. "We've got a case to joint. I don't believe in joints, but they do hold your body together." It's an example of loose associations. Eventually, I made my way back to my dorm room. And once there, I couldn't settle down. My head was too full of noise, too full of orange trees, and law memos I could not write, and mass murders I knew I would be responsible for. Sitting on my bed, I rocked back and forth, moaning in fear and isolation. This episode led to my first hospitalization in America. I had 2 earlier in England, continuing with the write-ins. The next morning, I went to my professor's office to ask for an extension on the memo assignment, and I began gibbering unintelligibly as I had the night before, and he eventually brought me to the emergency room. Once there, someone I'll just call the doctor, and his whole team of goons swooped down, lifted me high into the air, and slammed me down on a metal bed with such force that I saw stars. Then they strapped my legs and arms to the metal bed with thick leather straps. A sound came out of my mouth that I'd never heard before. Half groan, half scream, barely human, and pure terror. Then the sound came again, forced from somewhere deep inside my belly and scraping my throat raw. This incident resulted in my involuntary hospitalization. One of the reasons the doctors gave for hospitalizing me against my will was that I was, quote, gravely disabled. To support this view, they wrote in my chart that I was unable to do my Yale Law School homework. I wondered what that meant about much of the rest of New Haven.
So that was just a clip, a segment from her experience. She goes on into detail about the effects of schizophrenia and her battle through it, and how she has not only gone on, graduated from Yale Law School, also became a very renowned expert on the work of schizophrenia, as well as leading a fully healthy life. She is married as well. All right, so we're going to do another activity. This is a little role play for an auditory hallucination. So we're going to get into groups of 3. One person will be the speaker, another will be the listener, and the third person will be the voices. So we simulated. Can you come up here for just a second? We're just going to use you as an example. So these 2 will hold conversation, and the third person will be behind, whispering things into his ear. Okay? So we can just get to groups of 3, and then we can use similar phrases such as these here to simulate this activity. Okay? And if you want, you can throw in your own little phrases too, but try to keep them appropriate and respect the other people.
Give me a skull man.
You want to be the whisperer?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a step up.
Alright, let's bring it back to the front.
Yeah, unless you just have a good nature, go to a really crappy
So, did anyone have any feel like it was, a lot more difficult to understand what the person was trying to tell you when the other person was talking to you in your ear?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very hard, be dealing with, regular life, trying, do all your work, being part of your, at your occupation, trying to do work, or talking with a friend, or just trying to, pretty much be part of a relationship. It's hard to, control your thoughts and kind of think when something's going crazy in your mind, telling you what to be doing, and telling you that you're crazy, or you need to be getting out of there, someone's hurting you or something. So it's definitely hard to deal with. All right, so so if you guys have any questions, or if you have any concerns with mental health, there's a great resource on campus. We got the Counseling and Testing Center. They're open from 8 to 5, and then you can call at any point. If you call during the office hours, you can call in then, or you can call after hours. There's a crisis line that you can call. We also have the National Suicide Prevention line on there, so if you have a friend that's suicidal, or you're having problems, or you have a friend that's having problems, you can always call this number. And then also at the counseling center, you can go there to get help with crisis intervention. You can go in there do group counseling. So there's all kinds of things you can do there. So go in, check it out. It's a pretty cool resource. And the number's up there.
The Counseling and Testing Center number, that is also the same thing as the crisis intervention line.
Yeah.
Just after their normal hours, it turns into the crisis intervention line.
Okay, so anyways, so this is actually our health page on U Idaho website. So you can go on here. We have all kinds of health topics that you can look up under there. You can go in there and ask us anything. I think it goes right to one of their emails. If you go and click on that tab. We also have all the events up there. So come by, check the page. We're gonna have events up there all the time.
All right, and so now we have a few extra quiz opportunities, but you can earn prizes. I mean, we've got some sweet little buttons, and we have t-shirts and bags as well. So, who can tell me what the A stands for in algebra?
Assess for risk of suicide or harm.
All right. All right, what percentage of Americans does anxiety? Pertain to? Yes. 18%. All right. Want a button, a bag, or a shirt?
Shirt.
So let's go with So how many percent of people have a substance abuse disorder? What's that? In a given year, by the way. What was that?
Nothing.
No?
Was it 3.8?
That is correct. What do you want?
I'll take the shirt, please.
By the way, it's large. If you stop by, you might have some mediums, smalls in that room. And do the next one.
What is the difference between a delusion and a hallucination? No, this one's a little bit hard. A delusion is characterized by people that believe that they're undergoing a special mission, or they're being controlled from the outside, while hallucination pertains to the five senses, as far as you might be hearing voices, or you might be seeing, one of them was like people flipping me on. So if I were to have a visual hallucination, I might see everyone flipping me on right now. No, that's not happening, hopefully.
All right, so let's see. So what are the hours for the Counseling and Testing Center?
Alright, right. So we got, no, we got bags and buttons.
I'll take the button.
Alright. My bad. Okay, so, let's see.
No, you go for it. It's fine.
Okay.
Stop here.
Who can tell me the different, or what characterizes bipolarism? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm assuming you just want a button. I'm bad.
So, okay, so what is the Greek, or what is the Greek definition of schizophrenia?
Fractured mind.
Very nice.
I'll take a bag.
Bag, alright.
Environmentally safe.
All right, well, that concludes our presentation. If anyone else wants this bag or the button, feel free to come on up. That's all we have for you guys today.
So, I've had many different careers and done many different things throughout my life so far. One of them, I'm a trained counsellor, so I've worked in community mental health, I worked at inpatient hospital, and I also worked in a college setting. So the presentation today is to increase awareness of a lot of issues that are common, and they are very common. I used to see them a great deal in both settings. One of the biggest ones that I saw in college students was, what did most people come in for? And it was on the top of the slide. Stress, anxiety, and depression. So those three things were really common, and stress is the #1 kind of health issue in college students too. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in another class, talk about the ins and outs of it, and then also some stress management techniques. With all of these mental health conditions, if you think about all the areas of wellness, what can happen is that if you're not taking care of yourself, getting your physical activity, eating well, managing your stress, managing relationships, it can increase your risk of episodes, so bouts of depression, thoughts of isolation and suicide. So we want to take care of those things so we can maintain health. And then also when we start to slip into poorer mental health, then all of the physical self-care goes downhill too. So it's really important to take care of yourselves all the time for a prevention and a treatment standpoint. So although you might not be going into mental health as professionals yourselves, what you do through your recreation, dance, coaching, is you're already teaching people some skills to help with some of these mental health conditions too. For a lot of people, the time period where some of these conditions first arise, some are in high school and a lot are in college. So this is sometimes the first time, as we saw with the lady where she found her first episode of schizophrenia, it can occur during this college age. So be aware of yourself, about trying to keep yourself in more of that, as we saw before, the normal curve, more in the wellness area. Know your symptoms of when things aren't going as well. Know the resources and use them. And absolutely become familiar with the first aid, read over it, and then implement it. If you know somebody who is struggling, speak up and reach out to them. Even if they don't take your advice or help, they will know that you are aware and that you're listening, that you care, and it can be the most impactful thing. Even if they swear at you and run off at that time period, you've reached out and